What's going on, everyone? So now we have a Japanese woman who reacts to the Assassin's Creed Shadows controversy after a while. She's going to give her insights the way things are. I've done all types of focus on all sorts of different races and cultures, positive and negative. I've never done one on a Japanese woman, and I actually ended up finding one that recently came out. So I'm like, okay, let's get her up there. She only has 1.29K subs too. She's growing, does a good job. I think she's intelligent, said all the right things. One thing that I'm gonna do too, though, is when she gets to the gameplay part, we've seen this so many times. So we're gonna go right to like her points of views because it's a long video, and we're gonna highlight, what she thinks about it, how she views this, and what she thinks, the Japanese culture feels about how things are portrayed, to them. And she does a really good job. So we're gonna go ahead and get right into this. And like I said, when it comes to this type of topic, sometimes I'll take days off and stuff because I was going at it really hard and I'm kind of trying to experiment with other stuff on my channel. But I've covered all different perspectives, and now we're going to get into this, the perspective and the feelings of what a Japanese woman thinks about this. And I like her take on it. So I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and react to this, bring it over to Western society. And then, other people can view this as well. Let's see what she has to say.
Hello there, my name is Cotton. I usually upload videos of my gameplay
And she
and
speaks
other
English.
videos. I think those who usually watch my channel were surprised by my sudden uploading of such a video. Now, the problem that started with Assassin's Creed Shadows has become very big. In this video, I hope to talk about what I as a Japanese woman feel. I think there are various risks in addressing the problem here in a video. However, since the trigger is a game, I decided to shoot a video because I wanted to do something as a game fan. Also, since I am learning English now, and since people from overseas are subscribing to my channel, I decided to make a speech in English so that more people can understand this problem.
You're doing a good job.
My English is still immature and I use a variety of translation apps, but I have also added subtitles to this video, so I hope it can be watched by a variety of people. At the outset, absolutely, I'm not trying to be racist.
No.
There is no intent to discriminate against any particular country, race, or group. Please understand this beforehand. In this problem, I will try to exclude the political correctness perspective as much as possible and speak from the perspective of an ordinary person.
So she means like the DEI woke stuff. That's what political correctness means in Japan, by the way.
I am not a history expert and my perception may be wrong a lot. In that case, I would appreciate it if you could correct me in the comments of this video. Let's start with my reaction to the PV of.
Okay, so this gets into the videos. We've seen this, so many times. I don't want to see it again. I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to. But she sees all that. Obviously, she doesn't like the reaction to it. But let's get to what she thinks about this. Now, I'm going to share this video, obviously, in my description so y'all can look at it. But let's see what a Japanese woman thinks about this. I think she did a good job.
Now, let me tell you what I think of this PV. About the black protagonist named Yasuke. One of the opinions claimed by people from overseas was that Japanese people would not like this work because a black person is the main character. But This is a big mistake.
So you see automatically all of them are basically telling you that. And like I said, we know who's doing that. It's the left Democratic Party. It's the liberals, the wokes, and those that are pushing the DEI agenda. Literally.
The Japanese will not criticize a black protagonist solely because they are black. Rather, I think the existence of Yasuke is very interesting as a theme for creative works. He leaves his homeland to serve a new road in a faraway country with a different language and culture, where he learns loyalty and confronts his enemies. It is a very interesting story as fiction, and I think many Japanese view Yasuke favorably. I think the problem is portrayal of Yasuke in this game.
That's 100% correct. She's spot on that. And, like I said, there's a difference between the opinion and the obvious. And then we don't have to have an opinion anymore because it's obvious. Everyone knows that. The way that he's portrayed is wrong in so many different manners. Good job.
Yasuke's portrayal in Assassin's Creed Shadows. In this PV, I felt very disgusted and fearful toward Yasuke. This is probably due to the excessive depiction of murder. Considering the historical background, I think death was certainly close at hand at that time. However, since there were also laws in Japan during the Warring States period, it seems that murder without a reason was, of course, a crime.
And this is a problem because of historical accuracy. Using a historical character in the wrong means, and knowing that the series was big on historical accuracy, and the revisionism is depicted in a sense that is murderous, criminal, and makes him look like a demon. Um, and he just got to that land, and all of a sudden he's just slaying all those people in that way. And it's done in a way to where, like I said, without working with Japan, it's just completely wrong. And yeah, it's very criminal. And what she's also saying too is that you wouldn't just be able to go and do that and then have people buy to you in the village. It's also bullshit. I didn't even know who he was. You know what I mean? Like, all that is just all wrong. This is how you know they didn't work with Japan. But not only that, but he would have been thrown in the slammer. They would have lined up with so many different people that he wouldn't have been able to combat against them. So that's explained right here. Let's continue.
Furthermore, Yasuke's violence is excessive. Full swing of a metal bar at a person's face, stomping on the head of a fallen opponent, and decapitate a weakened opponent's head. These actions are not acceptable human behavior. This is a disgusting depiction not only for the Japanese, but also for people from other countries.
It is because let me explain why. And we're used to video games slaughtering people, right? But let's just think about when you're trying to do historical accuracy, with some fiction mixed in, or a game that you get to Japan without working for them. You didn't even give us a build up to how he even got to that point. You just kind of, the first time you ever showed him in a trailer, showed him riding on the horse into Japan. There's no background here. He gets off the horse. Uh, he's saying he's there to be justice. Yeah, he's running around slaughtering people in a way that if you're going to depict somebody who's a historical character, because that's not fiction, he was actually a real person, but just not in that manner. That's all fantasy. We already know that. If you haven't seen my videos, I've covered all of the Assassin's Creed topics on my channel professionally at the highest peak. Y'all would love to go watch the series. They did very well, and thank y'all for the support. I'm not leaving this topic, obviously, but like I said, I'm trying to be creative in different other aspects and experiment. We definitely have to bring in the political aspects because that's what this is, and it's invading, and it's so in there and integrated that people have to learn about it and know about it so that we can know how to deal with it, attack it, not support it, and all that sorts of stuff. So you'll be seeing me mixing in some political stuff so that people could be more aware about it and rather than staying ignorant and then being ignorant about situations when stuff like this is arise because they don't have the sense of integrity and awareness and merit to deal with it correctly. And it's just way off balance and extreme. Definitely when we're talking about the leftist aspect. But it is disgusting because all of this is disrespectful in so many different manners of people who don't have any historical privilege to represent people's history falsely uh, in this depiction.
And if I look at the flow of the game, Yasuke in this scene is a stranger who came from another territory.
Yes.
From the village's point of view, it just seems like strangers running amok. To the uninformed public, it would appear that Oni had attacked the village.
So you see that? That's very true. He just seems like he's coming in there like a demon, trying to slaughter people, and he's able to have a club and a samurai sword. It takes a long time to master those type of weapons when you're going against a country who grew up their entire life using the samurai sword. You know what I mean? And like you could just go in there and dominate them that easily and walk around and have people about them. Like it's just a bunch of garbage. Um, Not only that, but it just made it seem like there was nobody that could match him. Like he was that good with it, and that's just like I said, it's disrespectful to the entire samurai history of Japan. None of it is done well. It was just shit presentation. They should have known how to do that better. But let's just think about it. It's not like to them it was. No, they knew what they were doing, and there was a reason why they displayed it all that way. It was being directed at that manner towards people. It's not a mistake. No, they're trying to tell you something. Always remember that point of view.
Oni are terrifying creatures from Japanese folk tales. If we compare it in English, it is monsters or ogres. No matter the cause of saving the people suffering from oppression, this Yasuke is nothing but a criminal.
No, she's right. That's exactly what they're trying to do. That murders at the sound of rap or hip hop beats with stolen items on him, invading other territories, and being racially oppressive towards another race. That's how they're depicting the African American, but using African. That's basically what it is.
Samurai in Japan's Warring States period refers to a bushi who served a nobleman. Therefore, this Yasuke cannot be a samurai. Yasuke in this game is portrayed as very rough and he is not a respectable person at all.
No, yeah, he comes in with a barbaric mindset. Tries to display himself as saying I'm justice, but then he doesn't represent the merit of a samurai in any fashion or state. And a samurai will take on a samurai with a sword. They wouldn't come with the club. These guys that did this, they're like all of them are a bunch of idiots. The people who are forcing these developers to do that. Like you could tell they're so uneducated on the Japanese culture, it blows my mind. There are so many mistakes and holes and errors in everything they tried to do. Like if we want to look at this as being historically accurate, of course it's not. It's what they wanted to display in fashion. They just Thomas Lockley'd everything. That's all disrespectful.
There, I say in strong terms, he seems like a stupid foreigner with no sense of propriety.
She's right. And that's not what he was in real life. This is the way that they are portraying him. That's what she's saying. And it's very true. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the way that they're displaying African American to their mindset. You're stupid. You have no sense of propriety. You're disrespectful. You're rude. You just listen to rap and you run around and murder people. And you steal stuff. And you're not willing to reason. That's literally what they're saying, and that's how they're displaying it. See, people with eyes that are open, you could see that. And they're shoving that in front of Japan's face and then playing the leftist liberal brainwashing game by getting people to defend that and attack Japan and call them racist and want them to support that when it comes out. That's the problem with this game. Not because of Yasuke. He didn't do anything. He's not here. No, look, that's the way they're disrespecting dead. It's messed up what they're doing. But they're disrespecting so many different things. Obviously, Japan the most, but also him as well, and African society. It's Africans are. I wouldn't say that I would depict them the same as African Americans. They're not like that. It's totally different. I don't view them as the same either. Just like I wouldn't view certain Asians the same just because they're Asian. That's not true. People with certain skin colors cannot be viewed the same. Black does not mean that you're black because you have a certain skin tone. You can go to India and find people with a type of skin tone. You know what I mean? You can go to, there's some Spaniards that have that type of skin color. Just because somebody has a certain type of skin color does not mean that they should be viewed the same as everyone else because they're not the same. There's plenty of people with skin color like mine. They're in so many different cultures, but none of these cultures are remotely the same at all. Japanese people have skin color like this. Chinese people have skin color like this. Caucasians have skin color like this. Russians, Germans, Brits, French. But then there's French people that don't. You see what I mean? So, like, if you are literally in that type of mindset, you are polarized and you have separated yourself in a world of looking at things through spectrums of pigment rather than quality, who somebody really is, and the mindset that they have. Could there be people with certain type of skin colors in the African American community that represent that type of depiction? Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's why they're doing that. Otherwise it wouldn't be displayed. But just because you see somebody in Africa like that, or maybe in Jamaica like that, or maybe in South Africa like that, or in Egypt like that, or in India, that does not mean that they're like that. You know what I mean? That's why I say that we have to be careful about how we depict and call somebody. That should be called more by the race and territory and culture that they grew up in rather than just a color name.
This game lacks respect for the Japanese and at the same time insults Yasuke himself.
Yes.
I consider it very dangerous for this Yasuke to be representative black protagonist. This is a significant lowering of the image of black people for the Japanese.
So you see how a Japanese woman is viewing this? See, that's why I like Japanese women. They're intelligent. That's why they have the highest IQ. And the males are incredibly productive because they have a strong sense of unity together. The Indian, the Asian, and the Caucasian, they have the strongest sense of family and unity and intelligence and awareness. This is just a fact that I'm speaking here. If it was somebody else, I would say that, but it isn't. That's just the way that it is. And you could see that because when the women are more intelligent, then the males are better supported, and the males are more intelligent. They have more light, they have more creativity. And when I look at like what's going on definitely in Western society, you can see that that's a huge problem. When you look at what's going on in Africa, you can see that's a huge problem. When you look up what's going on with the African American family over here in Western society, you can see that that's a huge problem. Because that sense of unity and family and love is very low compared to what you would see in the Indian culture, the Asian culture, and the Caucasian culture, which Europeans are included in that. So, and it starts in the household. It really does. Now, yeah, that's the problem. So we need to see the truth of this. And that's why it's good to look from different points of view to see how they view this. Look at how she's viewing this in a very intelligent manner. I like her mindset. It's correct. And she did a good job. I'll let her know that I shared this too.
I believe that not only the Japanese people should be angry about this game, but the black people should be angry as well about Yasuke's visibility in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
From a personal point of view, Yasuke was completely unknown in Japan. For example, when I first learned of Yasuke was when I saw a history variety show on TV about 10 years ago. Of course, there is no mention of him in the history textbooks I studied as a child. He was not an important figure in either Japanese or world history. He is the kind of person that some history-only nerds know him. As has been said many times in this problem, there are very few primary sources about Yasuke. Of the numerous documents that remain about Japan's warring state period, only a few lines are written about him. Because of the lack of documentation, we know almost nothing about Yasuke. So
there is no research done.
There is no research done on him, and we can only speculate on what he is like.
Very good job. Seriously. So do you see, without any of this nonsense getting in the way, look at what she did already in her first video. She literally just made it clear about what I just covered for people so they can have to understand over here in Western society. She did it all right the first time. Very good job. I'm proud of you. So I love the Japanese culture. She realizes this is all made up. It's all wrong. Who should be angry? What's being done wrong? Everything she's covering here is all well read. And even if she was looking at the other stuff, she still came on the scenes and did everything the correct manner. And I just love seeing this.
Regarding this, someone has uploaded a video on YouTube called All Historical Documents Related to Yasuke.
Also, to talk about it, this is why I was also telling people that if you looked at the Japanese documents in Japan, there were 60. It's not like there were 60 like pages. No, there were 60 similar documents, all stating basically the same thing. Never once did they say he was a samurai, or that he could fight, or he was some sense of bodyguard, or that he got picked by Nobunaga and was given all this nonsense and he was on the battlefield. Like, it does not exist at all whatsoever. The only version of that existed was this one fashioned one by the Jesuits who fabricated their own story, and Thomas Lockley and them took that and they magnified that and made this off of that. But the documents from Japan don't mention that at all, and that's where the history of him came from. That's where this all exists. So like when you think about it, it makes sense why they didn't work with Japan, why they avoided them. See, all these things they did is because they wanted to fashion their own stuff. This is Western criminal behavior. Literally. There's nothing of Japan included in this. Only what's included to be against them and not include them for profit, brainwashing, leftist deception, and just disrespect and revisionism.
If you would like to watch it. Problems with UBI as a company. UBI recently issued an apologetic message from the development team regarding Assassin's Creed Shadows. However, this apology content misses the point and is dishonest as a company. In the statement, UBI emphasizes that the games in the series are fictional, saying that games in this series were not created for the purpose of recreating historical facts or historical figures. I think it is very good to emphasize that it is fiction. However, they stated in a May 2024 interview that they were checking for historical accuracy. Of course, Japanese people know own country, so we can understand that this game is fictional and not all accurate. However, It is difficult for foreign users to fully understand Japanese history and culture, and I believe that this statement is one of the reasons for the growing problem. This led to misunderstanding of Japanese history and culture by people who did not understand fiction and spread that false perception that blacks had been in Japan since ancient times and that blacks were samurai.
No.
This is a very big issue, and I think UBI has a responsibility to disseminate the collection of information more globally. Also, numerous image plagiarisms
But they're not going to. That's why we have to do it.
have been noted in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and I have my doubts about this game's development system. Cultural properties are copyrighted and protected by international treaties. It is possible that the development staff used it without permission, but ignoring this fact calls into question the company's very existence. If they ignore international treaties, then UBI is a company that does not abide by the law. Such a company should not exist.
Western society, sweetheart, I'm sorry.
UBI will have a responsibility to issue another statement on this issue and indicate how it will respond in the future. And Assassin's Creed Shadows needs to cease development and release, or at least rebuild the game from scratch.
It's not gonna happen.
There is a website that summarized that Assassin's Creed Shadows problem if you would like to see it. It was very clear and I used it to organize this speech. Thank you so much.
You did a good job.
I will then give my personal opinion on Mr. Thomas Lockley in this issue.
Here, we could take a look at this.
Thomas Lockley is described in the Yasuke section of this website. Please take a look at this page as it will show you what he did. A person named Thomas Lockley. He is an associate professor at Nihon University's College of Law and apparently teaches history and English. He has published books and articles on Yasuke, and his outrageous content is a contributing factor to this big issue. Vicious hoax that Japan started the black slave buying and selling. Thomas Lockley has published books in both English and Japanese, one of which could be taken as Japan started the black slave buying and selling. However, this is clearly not true.
Yeah, that's where I was like, okay, man, now you're going way too far. That's stupid. That's like saying that they're interested in having some type of immigrant slave labor in their country, where Japan has always mostly been about mostly Japanese people. They didn't even know certain other people existed at certain times because they were so into their culture. They had problems in their own culture, and they just wouldn't like leave. They're one of the fewest races that will leave their own country and go elsewhere. So how would they even know that? Like, no, they would have to be invaded. That's just manipulation from the Jesuit society. That literally is the dumbest statement that I've seen. Anyone that's intelligent would know that too. It just literally makes no sense. They're not like that. Like it, there would just be no reason. Like everything I just covered too and just told you, like there's literally no reason for that to even be remotely true. It's just stupid.
Perhaps he thought so that since Yasuke, a black slave, came to Japan, the black slave buying and selling must have started there. However,
no, because It's not like they asked him to come there and send him some ticket. They didn't even know he existed. No, the Jesuits brought him there. He didn't even know how to get there. You know what I mean? So, yeah, no, this is all the Jesuits doing this.
This is too nonsensical an assertion. As mentioned earlier, there are many historical documents available on Japan, but very few primary sources on Yasuke. And no description of black people other than Yasuke at that time has been found.
Yeah,
For example, it would be very conspicuous if foreign people came to Japan, a mono-ethnic country. So if blacks arrived besides the Portuguese, they would surely be recorded. In other words, Yasuke is the exception of the exception, and there is no way such thing as Japan enslaving many black people.
So see what she's saying? It literally makes no sense. They're not going to fall for that. No, they just want to brainwash people to believe that. It literally, like I said, it's literally an impossible outcome. There's just no way that'd even be possible. And if there were so many that depicted, it would just be shown in Japanese history. Before this topic even came up, before he even got mentioned, they would just show it in history like that. That's just how they are. And everything would be recorded and people would be able to read it. So, that's not possible.
Allegations that he repeatedly edited the Yasuke entry on Wikipedia. Thomas Lockley is alleged to have repeatedly edited the Yasuke entry on the English Wikipedia to make it fit his theory. This is still in the alleged stage, but there is a lot of evidence to support it, so I assume that he was editing and I will talk. What is pernicious in this regard is that he was editing the English version of Wikipedia, which is out of the sea of Japanese people. He has been editing the Yasuke section since at least about 10 years ago and has been trying to spread his claims abroad.
Yeah, he has, because not too many people knew about it at all. Nobody was paying attention to it. So by the time it was being presented, he was able to spin the narrative the way that he wanted to. But he was messing with the wrong culture when he did that, because they have the history. So yeah, I think that that's where he's a little bit narrow-sighted on.
He was disseminating over the years distorted Japanese history. The seeds he quietly planted took time to take root abroad and developed into the big issue we have today. It is very hard to clear up a misunderstanding once it has occurred.
If you're dealing with ignorant people, yes.
This is why I believe that Thomas Lockley should be thoroughly pursued.
And the people that did that with him.
I also believe that Wikipedia's credibility has been ground down by this issue. English and foreign Wikipedias have been considered relatively trustworthy, but as long as they cannot prevent malicious people from editing them, I think they have little material value.
Yeah, says a lot.
I am not familiar with the educational situation in other countries, but in Japanese universities, we are taught not to trust Wikipedia too much. This is because Wikipedia can be edited by anyone and often also lacks primary sources. If we quote from Wikipedia in our university research or papers, faculty members will ask us to revise out quotes. As long as we cannot prevent people like Thomas Lockley from being malicious, I think we should not trust the contents of Wikipedia, either in Japan or abroad. It is a very useful site, but should be used only as an overview or reference. The crime of historical falsification. Today, some people overseas believe Thomas Lockley's book and claim that blacks have been.
So y'all got to see what she said. If y'all want to continue watching this, I will share it um, in my description. But I wanted to cover a large portion, and I know it takes a little bit longer because she was speaking English, but she did a really good job. And I wanted to highlight this, and also wanted to support her page too. So yeah, make sure to get this video out. Definitely over in Japan. Give her some likes too. She did a really good job, and now y'all get to see the mind of just, you know, a humble Japanese woman and the way she viewed things. And she did a very good job, like I said. I love seeing this, and now you see there's more diversity, that real diversity that I'm including on this topic with different races and cultures. I went to Africa, right? Um, I went to Japan in a positive manner in a lot of aspects. Then I went to cover the frauds, like Yu Hirayama, who betrayed y'all. I did positive and negative aspects on African Americans. Then I did some positive aspects on Africans. I did some Caucasian males. I also did Britain, as well. So I'm giving you a large variety of topics. And, I can look for some more too if I need to. But like, subscribe if you like this type of content. I will bring you more, as I said. And she did a really good job. And I'll make sure to let her know that. All right, y'all. Peace out.